Get ready for your daily dose of WordPress and web development tips, tricks, and insights to help you find success with WordPress. You're listening to WP the Podcast with your hosts, David Blackman and Tim Streifler.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of WP the Podcast brought to you by WP Gears. I'm Tim Streifler, and my co-host David Blackman is currently out mid-travel. For those of you who don't know, David is a digital nomad, and so he has a RV, and he's able to pull the RV to different locations, beautiful locations around the country, and work from a mountaintop one day, a beach the next day. And so due to his traveling, we weren't able to get the scheduling quite right for this recording session. So I'm recording a couple of episodes solo, and then he'll be back with us for the next few episodes. Today's episode, we're going to talk about the critical project management mistake that can cost you thousands of dollars. So when you're a web designer, you're really wearing a lot of hats. If you're a business owner and you're taking on client projects, you don't just design websites. You might think that starting out, but once you get going, you realize there's so much more. There's so much of the business side. And so that's actually why David and I have a course called Divi Business Expert, where we teach you how to build a business around Divi and WordPress. Divi is a page builder that we use and love and highly recommend. And so we have a course that teaches not how to build websites. That's the easy part. We teach the business side of getting clients and managing clients and invoicing and all of that stuff, the stuff that you don't really realize you're going to have to learn when you're starting a business to create websites for clients. And so one of those things you do in addition to sales and marketing and stuff like that is project management. Being a good project manager is a key component of having a successful web design business. And if you don't do it right, you can end up costing you a lot of time and money. And if you make this mistake here that I'm going to talk about, it's not just going to frustrate you, it'll frustrate the client, and it's a big deal. Now, this is something that I've known for a while. It's something that David and I teach in the course, but it's a mistake that I actually made recently, and so I'm kicking myself for doing it, and that's not having one point of contact with your client's company. So when you are being the project manager for either for your own business or another business, you are basically the one point of contact that's representing your company. So if you're a solopreneur or if you have a team and you have designers and developers working for you, when you're working with that client, you want one point of contact that's representing your business. The same should be true on the other side with the client. There should be one person on their team that's interfacing with you, representing their company. And so when you have basically too many cooks in the kitchen, as I like to say, too many different people's opinions coming into play and shooting you different information and stuff, it is chaos. You waste a lot of time managing all of that, waste a lot of time trying to figure out, decipher what they want. And it's just not a good way to do business. And this is something that, again, I've known for a while. I practice properly, and I haven't made this mistake in a while, but with the recent client, I made that mistake, and I'm kicking myself because it's something I should have spotted sooner. It is something in my contract that they must have one point of contact with the business, and I should have set that expectation earlier on in the project, and basically, told them, kind of enforce that rule, saying, hey, I need one person, because I basically get emails and I'm on a thread with like a bunch of different people on their team, and it's just utter chaos. And so what also happens is, or I guess what needs to happen is, not only should there be one point of contact with their business, but that one point of contact should basically collect feedback, collect people's opinions, and then filter. They should be curating that information and deciding what is good and what is bad. So for example, what ends up happening if they don't do that, so whether they're the only point of contact or whether you're getting the information in an email thread from 10 different people, is there'll be contradictory information. One person will say, yeah, I really like this, but I would need you to change this. Another person saying, don't change this, blah, blah, blah. And you get people that are contradicting each other without even realizing it because they're not reading each other's feedback. But if you have one point of contact on the client side that's taking that information in and then filtering and saying, no, I don't like that, and basically is the decision maker on what is the way it's going to be, and what information is going to get relayed to me, my company, the web designer, to basically go and make those changes or those content decisions, whatever it may be. And so that's a critical mistake that can really cost you a lot of time and money, because it's not really billable hours. Sometimes you can kind of get away with it. Sometimes you can't, it takes a lot of time. But either way, it's just not an efficient way to run a project. And so you, as a business owner, web designer, when you're putting that project management hat on, those are kind of the decisions or the things that you need to enforce to make the project successful. Because you might think that you're being mean or you're demanding to have it a certain way, but really what you're doing is you're taking control of the project and making sure that it runs smoothly. And the client's going to appreciate that in the end. It's going to make the project run way better, because here's the thing, you know how this goes. You run these projects all the time. Where the client, they don't get a new website all the time. They don't know how to do that and what the proper workflow is and the proper flow of information should be. But you do as the expert, and so you need to control that process, and everybody wins as a result. So again, this is something that David and I teach in our course, Divi Business Expert, which is now open for enrollment. So if you want to learn more about this, as well as all the other millions of things that go into running a successful web design business, above and beyond actual designing a website part, then go to wpgears.com and you can learn more about that. So that's the end of this episode. Tune in tomorrow. We're going to be talking about how to design an amazing website with a page builder. It is a little more complicated than you think, so we're going to talk about that. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.
We've come to the end of today's episode of WP the Podcast. Join us tomorrow for more daily tips and strategies designed to help you run your WordPress business toward success. Remember to subscribe to WP the Podcast so you can stay up to date with each episode. And don't forget to rate and review us. We'll see you again tomorrow right here on WP the Podcast.